What's going on, guys? How are you? How are you? How are you? It is Tuesday night. That means it's time for these NNR Xfinity drivers to take on Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We got about 15 or 17 cars that'll be on track tonight. It is a very, very tight battle for that last position to make it into the top 12. Tonight we're eliminating 4 drivers. Only 12 drivers will know when they get to Las Vegas Motor Speedway next week that they've still got a shot at the championship. Again, the Xfinity Series will have a new championship driver. NNR Smitty is concentrated fully on the Cup Series. So right now, Boehner's got the lead. Asbel wants it. I mean, Master Killer wants it. Mountain wants it. Fatless Dig wants it. I mean, there's all kinds of drivers that are extremely hungry, including NNR Cowboy. Cowboy has been on a tear ever since we left the short tracks earlier this season. These guys are already in their connection test, so I'm going to get this over, get our opening set up, get our national anthem in, and then yeah, we're gonna get things rolling. I will be joined by none other than the one and only Stout Whiskey as we get going on here. But man, I'm very very excited for this race tonight as well as the one on Thursday, just because of all the implications. And again, Thursday night we're gonna have a little bit more money to give away. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But for now, yeah, check these out. On the pole, it's going to be brand new qualifying. I tell you what, if we were to run the All-Star race, I'm sorry, the I don't think you really got caught up in all that much. But man, thanks for joining me in the booth tonight, buddy. Moore down from the Truck Series in here. He's going to be looking to try to steal a win. This time it is with the Xfinity cars. As you can see, just like it, she's got a soft spot in her heart for Cowboy Matt. Well, let's say Cowboy Matt doesn't win tonight, and let's say she picks.
For the most part, but it was very fun.
Yep, one right there at your home track, Bristol. That was through here. Yes, you got 21 of Sledgehammer. You got the 61 of Mountaineers, and our Cole 315 Cowboy Matt in his 19 IROC throwback.
Yep. Sledge for the lead, 15 pushed up a little bit there, probably running a lower preset, as you would imagine. That's the kind of the versatility you get in this preset.
Used to be all over the streams, him and Master Killer. Speaking of Master Killer, he's actually in the race tonight, and I will have a little bit of help as far as laps, some issues that may occur on track.
We're really going to hope that we can make it all the way on tire.
One Groove Racetrack. Yeah, you got to try to figure out the Finesse. Welcome to the chat, sir. Good to see you. Looks like Finesse is rooting on Boehner, trying to go for 3-0, 3 in a row, with Mountain and Fatless Dig. Right now, looking so far so good. A whole lot of give, a whole lot of take, but they're keeping it clean, keeping it green. It looks like they're getting a little bit of separation between each other. No, the truck race was a lot of side-by-side, fast-paced racing. I'm ready for tonight's race. How you feeling?
I'm waiting, man. And the cool thing is, of course,
Mountaineers, let this thing get really racy and then attack. Go for it. These guys have had 2+ weeks to practice. They're going to make contact a little bit, so are these guys. So looks like Bowling's kind of dropped back a little bit. Looks like some of the guys that might have taken tires earlier are really going to start moving their way to the push.
And here comes Larson. Larson to the bottom of the track. Job. Trying to take the lead away. Good job. Fowler, the momentum.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the free, and the home of the brave? Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in the name of the brave. We are the U.S. of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. This land of the brave, the U.S. of A. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, in the home of the
Well, guys, there you have it. Madison Rising, thank you very much again for allowing NNR to use your version of the national anthem at the start of every single one of our races. And I tell you, I am very excited. Rock NASCAR, good to see you. The one and only Stout Whiskey will be joining me in the booth tonight to watch these guys take on this flat 2-mile track with one goal in mind. Everybody wants to kiss the bricks at the end of it. Speaking of us, Stout, here he is, kind of crept in the back door while we were playing the anthem and the Xfinity opening. Stout, after a couple weeks of having off for the Shake and Bake Invitational, I'm guessing you're well rested. How you feeling tonight, bud?
Oh, dude, I enjoy doing that and getting invited to be a part of that. But I'm super excited to be back in the booth with you and calling the Xfinity action. Tuesday nights I see that it's my home is being here with you and calling these races.
Man, well, I'm glad to have you back. I mean, while you were gone, J-Paw came in and subbed. Dan, the lawn man, came in and subbed. I think there's one other kind of eluding me right now. But, man, I'm glad to have you back. I love talking about NASCAR, the history of NASCAR. I love that 2 paint scheme that Rowdy put on the track for you last week, and commemoration of an old Mark Martin throwback. But man, it's great to have you back. We are at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The guys are just about done with qualifying. Tonight's race, it's going to be decided, or it could be decided, by as little as 5 points as to who makes it in to the round of 12 after tonight, and who's going to be packing it up and saying, you know what, I'll be back next year. With that being said, right now it's showing Bill's Legend and Swats, or the guys that are teeter-tottering on that 12th place position. Where do you see tonight going? Who are you pulling for, and who do you got to take it all? Who's kissing the bricks in your mind?
Well, talking about the points, you mentioned Q Dogs and Bills, but or excuse me, Bills and Swats, but you got to throw Q Dogs in there. I'm not trying to put any fire into Q Dogs, but Q Dogs is only 11 points ahead of SWAT. So just like any time when it gets, especially chase time, you got to make sure that you get some of those stage points because they mean so much. And with the field being small tonight, those stage points are going to be huge. As far as winning tonight, I'm not really sure, what these guys can do here. Traditionally, this is a track that is just so this race is won back in the shop. When we talk about real NASCAR, it's a engineer's dream to go to Indianapolis and perform. I would have to think you'd have to think of Boehner and Aswell and just the string of holes that they've had on Xfinity lately. I really like to see what Plarsville, Bowling can do. I'd like to see Augustus run well. I know like the last 7 or 8 weeks in Xfinity that I've seen, Augustus hasn't ran as consistent as he did at the beginning of the year. That happens. I mean, you go through little lulls when you're racing, but the guy that I think is going to win tonight, I think it's going to be Honcho, man. I'm going to go with old Mike Honcho, 774.
Wow, you were going on and on about Asbel and Boehner and some of these other guys. I was not expecting a pick for old Mike Honcho, but man, how about that? And you know what? I'm also going with somebody that's not completely off the grid, but somebody that's been extremely strong here as of late, and a guy that started out watching the streams, kind of chatting up with me earlier in the year, just before Auto Club, and that's Master Killer. I'm going to go ahead and take old MK for the win tonight. He's in a great points position. He's about moved on. I mean, if something happened, God forbid, he would be going through to the next round. But man, old Mike Honcho, huh? I gotta roll with that too. I mean, that's not too bad. And then what do you see as a dark horse? Looking at that crystal ball, go ahead.
I mean, my dark horse would probably be Master Killer, just because I've had the opportunity to race, or not race, but practice with the guys. Master Killer, to me, when I've raced with him, he's done really well on the bigger tracks. We know this track is huge with the draft. This can be a track that can really benefit him if his setup's not perfect. And then, if he puts himself in the right place at the right time there at the end, why not Master Killer? I will say this too. I'm really going to keep an eye. I know you'll, flip back and forth between leaders, but I'll try to keep focus on what Q Dogs, Bill's Legend, and Swats is doing. I will say this. I would really like to see Bill's Legend run well. He's been having some stuff going on. So anytime when someone's facing adversity, you want to see them step up to the plate and overcome it. So Bill's Legend has got a stout whiskey vote tonight.
You know what? I was actually thinking about Bills as well while I was kind of just listening in on the drivers' meeting. Bills actually took it back to Vegas, and he's really looking forward to next week's race when we head there, because that was the one race where he did really, really well. Would have been up in the booth to talk with me and you or whoever it was at the time about his run, and I only interviewed the winner that night. At the time, I wasn't sure if we were going to keep the top three just as a cup level thing, but I think it was like the very next week I decided, no, you know what, we'll keep going with all three. It's been working so far. Let a few more people get that spotlight, and that's actually where I was going to go. I was going to go with Bill's Legend. He's running with a little extra of a lead foot, we'll just say, tonight. So I'm going to go with Bill's Legend. And just as here we are talking about old Master Killer and Bill's Legend and Q Dog and whatnot, here comes J-Pod checking into the chat. He's saying, let's get this show on the road. This ain't Thursday. Yeah, J-Pod, we're going to get this show on the road here in just a little bit. The guys are done qualifying. They're just waiting on that ever famous clock just to wear down so they can get back into the lobby. The one and only NNR SWATs will actually be controlling everything with the race tonight. Smitty was unable to make it, so SWATs is the man with the master plan. But man, I'm ready to see how this night turns out. I'm ready to get into the next stage. I think this was the contender or challenger. The next one I think is the contender series. So I'm ready to get on with that. Get to the next tracks. I think they're Las Vegas and Talladega. I think Road America and Richmond, if I'm not mistaken. I might be off on the road course, but man, the next four are going to be just as exciting as this round of four was. Stout.
Yeah, so finish it on the challenge round here, and then the contender round. I think you had them. It's Vegas, Talladega, Mid Ohio, and Richmond.
Okay.
That's the cool thing with the brainchild of this. Jim Coey. He really set up the playoffs where it was challenging, and there's really a different type of track in each round to hopefully benefit a driver. Maybe some drivers benefit from all of them, but it's different. It's something you don't see in most leagues or NASCAR in general. So it's definitely challenging, and it's fun to switch it up each year and approach it differently.
Yeah, Coey absolutely made sure, and this isn't a slight to anybody by any means, but Coey made sure that the winner of this year's championship was going to flat out earn it. Nobody's going to do well in all four tracks. Everybody's going to have a shot, but if you win it, you will have earned it. Because you have to put in the time, you've got to put in the effort, you've got to get your practice in, especially on these road courses. Road courses, unless you're some kind of an ace, which we've seen, nobody's a lock at those things. Sometimes I even think of them as a random, a place kind of like Daytona or Talladega where literally anybody can win it, unless you're just flat horrible at those like me. But we are wrapping up the round of 16, starting the round of 12 next week. Tonight, 4 people will say, okay, you know what? I'll get you next year. Wasn't able to get it done this year. Next year's my year.
Absolutely, and talking about the points, man. You have to look at it because this is difficult. Some guys probably going, hey, expect to win a championship. I kind of take a different approach. I try to do the best I can and let the cards fall, and that's the way I hope a lot of these guys look at it. You have to think about, hey, well, if this is your first year in NNR, kind of get your feet wet, and kind of set a baseline expectation for yourself. Personally, running last year, I felt like I've ran better this year, and that was the goal. And ultimately, no matter what happens on the Cup side for me, I'm proud of what I've been able to do this year. And if something happens, I get eliminated in the round of 12, it's not going to hinder my feelings based on my season. So that's the thing. You got to finish strong. If you do get eliminated here, hopefully the guys say, well, we're not done yet. We still got Vegas, Dega, Ohio, Richmond, Road America, Michigan, Homestead, Martinsville, and Atlanta. That's the way you got to look at it. You got to approach it. You got to attack it, and just continue to build on, just the rest of the season. You've made it this far. Don't give up. Just stick with it, and everything will take care of itself.
Yeah, and you're talking about the guys coming in, getting their feet wet, and all that. As I'm watching the point scroll across the bottom and hearing you say that, just about every single one of the people in the top 12 are brand new to NNR this year, like your points leader, Boehner. Asbel's new. Master Killer's new. Mike Concho is new. Uh, I not so sure about SWATs, but I mean, there are a lot of new people that have made a very big impact in NNR. Opening up people's eyes, seeing what they're capable of doing. Some of them coming right in, running a few races, catching the eye of someone in the Cup Series and bringing them up, like what happened with Boehner, and like what with Augustus and Sully and a few others. So it's yeah, that's where everybody wants to end up. You have absolutely gotten better. I think last year you got one win on the season. This year you swept Bristol, and you're in the chase. You're solidly going into the next round. I mean, you mentioned a little bit ago that you've got just one or just a few points to try to catch Rose and the Aviator. You're up there. You're solidly in. You're not going anywhere no matter what happens on Thursday night. Um, you've done much better. You've been consistent every single week. And like again, I could be wrong on last year's results, but I'm pretty sure you've if there was a way, or if Coey kept the records from last year versus this year, you'd see a very large improvement.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I actually finished sixth in the points in the regular season last year, and this year I finished fifth in the regular season points. So the way I see it is looking at that, because that's probably the most important thing to me, is how I do on the season, because this stuff is a crapshoot. So next year my goal is to be fourth, in the regular season, at least fourth. If it's higher, that's great. If it's below, that's fine too, man. That just means that, hey, I wasn't prepared. I didn't put enough time in. But with J-Paw watching, I have to give J-Paw some credit, and Dan the Lawman, two of the guys that have helped you. Really got a real close friendship with them, and I guess I'm supposing to the world we're not teammates, man, but we work together and we try to help each other, because it's just that mentality that it's kind of us versus the world, not in a bad way, but we're not necessarily the fastest, but we're all pretty consistent, so we try to help each other out, and we feel like we've made each other better, and I think J. Paw and Dan would agree with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You talk about J-Paw, you talk about Dan. Those are two people I mentioned earlier that actually joined me in the booth in your absence while you were running the Shake and Bake Invitational. And also, I got to give another big shout out to J-Paw. Guys, you heard me talk on site about some Microsoft cash that we're giving away on Thursday night. I'm gonna talk about that. I might as well throw it out there again right now. But on Thursday night, if you can pick the top three finishers, they don't necessarily have to be in order. They could be first, second, third, second, first, second, third, first, whatever the order in which they finish. If you pick the people that finish in the top three before the end of stage two, we've got some Microsoft cash for you, courtesy of the one and only J-Paw. He sent me the code for Thursday night's race. I think it was either last night or early this morning. How about this? The man sent me a message after he sent me the code saying, Pete, I got this just now. It had to be this morning, because he's talking about a dream he had. He had a dream that on Thursday night we will have 100 viewers watching our Cup Series take it around the 2-mile flat track of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, waiting for that one person to kiss the bricks, see who's going to finish in the top three, who's going to walk away with that code, who's going to lock themselves into the round of 12, and whose dream is still alive to win the 2020 NNR Cup Series Championship. This is what J-Paw's thinking about. Imagine what these other guys that are thinking about. J-Paw's in the chase. You're in the chase. It's very tight between like 10th and 16th, or 8th and 16th, and when it comes to the Cup Series points. If J-Paw's thinking about this, I wonder what everybody else is thinking about. But J-Paw, Thank you very much for this. You're absolutely helping us. Looks like the guys are all back in the lobby. So again, it's just time for that very, very important meeting with the one and only NNR SWATs, setting it up to where they'll be entering pit road, where they'll be exiting pit road. I imagine things will be very much the same as they were for the truck race on Sunday night. And yeah, there were no issues coming off pit road. Everything was clean. The merging was perfect. Even when there was a little bit of traffic, the communication, the track awareness, it all came into play. And I think there's like one caution on Sunday night. So if we could do the same, we could replicate that, which I'm positive we can. I'm looking forward to a great race, Stout.
Absolutely, man. This is like we were talking about earlier. This place is it's got some folklore with it. I know a lot of people love this place. Personally, I hate this track. I feel like they should be racing over at IRP, but I know it's worked its way as a crown jewel. So yeah, I mean, anytime you win here, it's one of those that it's a bucket list race for a racer to win. You think about Jeff Gordon winning the inaugural race here in real life and how important that was to him, and Tony Stewart, who just grew up wanting to be a race Indy cars at Indianapolis and getting to win there multiple times in a stock car, how important that was to him. So this is definitely a place that most people want to win at.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody, no matter who you are, no matter how big of a driver you are, your name, your stature, your bankroll, no matter what it is, you want to kiss those bricks just because of the history, the legacy. I mean, I don't think it's been a while since I've actually watched a victory lane celebration at Indianapolis. I don't know if the NASCAR guys drink the milk. I don't think they get the wreath, but I don't know if the NASCAR guys drink the milk or if that's just an F1 or an Indy thing. But I know they all kiss those bricks.
Absolutely, all parked there at the start finish line, and everybody and their mama from the team, dogs, the cats, the brother sister, the brother sister's friends, bagger at the grocery store. They all get out there and kiss the bricks. So.
J-Pod's out there saying Stout thinks I'm slow. He is correct. Nah. I've seen that 22. When you're able to make those moves, when you have the chance to be aggressive, Stout, you're not fooling me. I've seen you do it. I know you can be fast. I've seen the tandems that you and others have been able to get runs with. So, nah, you're not slow, and I'm sure just like you're out here tonight pulling for the rest of your army. They'll be pulling for you on Thursday night. Stout, can you please drop down and ask them for that ever important invite, please? They're loading in.
Gotcha.
Thanks, sir. So, yeah, with them loading in, we should be just a minute. And then, yeah, we're going to have the entire race right here. Me and Stout and me, plus, might as well add in another 15 drivers or so to take it around. This was a very historic track. Actually, I heard something earlier today that they're going to be racing a double header here this year, so that's going to be a lot of fun, kind of like how Pocono was. Let's see, I just got the invite from Stout, so let me go ahead and grab that. And then I'll grab the one and only Stout Whiskey to come on in here as well. I need to add Stout as a favorite. Shame on me for not already having him. And he's showing offline, so a little bit further. There he is. Invite to the game. All right. All right, so again, we are loading in. It's going to be a good time. A lot of talent here in the Xfinity series, waiting to get it done. They're on the backstretch already, with their pace lap. So we'll just get right on the cameras here. Looks like it's going to be the 28 of Boehner, your points leader, with Asbel to his outside. Then you've got the 84-volt Cheeseburger with the 11 of Parzival. Then you've got the 8 of Augustus and the 39 of Master Killer. 98 of Bowling with the 29 of Bills. So both of our picks and dark horses are up inside the top 8. Stout with the 97 of Fatless Dig and the 36 of Jay Quim. I'm going to work our way back up. Here we go, coming to that yard of bricks down this long straightaway, which will play a lot to do in the draft. But Stout, here we are, green, going into 1.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they attack here in 1. Who lives, if they're just going to dive it in there.
And you talk about diving it in there. The guy that started third just took second from Asbel. That's the 84 of Cheeseburger. Looks like he's rocking maybe an old Hunt Brothers paint scheme right now, and he's not done. He's going to try to pull the inside of the 28, maybe try to pull him back. A little bit of side draft. Not happening just yet. He's going to keep on right on that 28's bumper, though, and go through 3 and 4, back down this long front stretch, and that's 1 lap in the books already.
Yeah, and whoever's in that third green car, that would be it's Parzival. Parzival actually just got into Asbel and put him in the wall, and Asbel's already dropped back. It looks like they're around 7th or 8th place.
Yep, Asbel's back there right behind. I believe this is going to be the 8 car of Augustus. So, yeah, he's dropped back just a little bit. Looks like his car is still pretty clean. He's between the 8 of Augustus and the 19 of NNR Cowboy. So, Cowboy keeping pretty much right where he started off. Spurl, good to see you out there, sir. Hope you're doing well. Old Master Killer with Bowling, all nose to tail right now, Stout, trying to get through the corners, see what they got. The draft is going to be completely different. It's going to throw them off compared to what they ran in their practice, whether it was single car or maybe just one other person around them. Having 15 cars on track is going to be way different than just maybe a few teammates that were out here getting ready for this race during the week.
Yeah, and you're right. With the field being that small, man, you've got to be on point with being smart about your passes. Make sure you're not jeopardizing putting yourself in a bad situation. And the same thing, making sure you hit your marks getting on pit road. Make sure you don't speed, because if you don't and you slack off, you're going to get separated and you're going to lose many, many seconds over the course of a run, because those other cars are going to be nose to tail drafting.
And that's exactly what we're seeing. A few guys down on the low line, a couple guys up on a high line. The low line is going to take it, especially through 3 and 4. Well, not 3, but I keep forgetting that these corners are very separated. It's not 1 and 2 together and then 3 and 4 together like you might see at an auto club in Texas or Michigan or anywhere, any other kind of oval. This place is completely different. All 4 corners are the same, but they've all got a little bit of a short chute in between them. So you got some gap between all those left turns that you're making tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I already told you my distaste for this place. I call it the giant rectangle. Actually, I save all my practice photos and I title them, like, hey, it's Bristol night, it's Bristol day, and I have the giant rectangle on here with my preset.
There you go. There you go. And that's really what it is. I mean, there's no other track on the NASCAR circuit that's anywhere close. I mean, there is a corner that I poke that's modeled after Indy, but the straightaway at Pocono is longer than it is here. And turn 1, I think that was modeled after Milwaukee. So it's different. So you're not going to get any practice, although most of the time in the Cup schedule, they'll go from Indy to Pocono or Pocono to Indy because they are somewhat similar, but not really all that much. It's mostly just the downforce because of these long straightaways.
Yeah, this place is, it's massive. I've been lucky enough to go to Indianapolis several times. I was there the year Juan Pablo Montoya, personally, I feel like he got cheated out of the win, and they gave it to Jimmy Johnson when Pablo was on rails that day. But, all right, so in the infield here, they've got the Indianapolis Motorsports Hall of Fame. They've got several holes to their golf course that goes in and outside the track. I mean, this place is huge, and the way you go into like the inside of the track is you basically drive down like this long tunnel, and then you come up this tunnel and you actually come out right there at the Hall of Fame. But like you're saying, with as big as it is, it's so important. Like I'm watching Augustus right now, and he's inside Cowboy, and they're battling out. And I understand position is position, but they're just losing so much time, man.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, not only is the 8 of Augustus and the 19 of Cowboy, but they were double file right behind them as well. Augustus should be able to take this spot. Good job by the 19 of Cowboy to not wash up and hit that wall. These corners do get very, very tight when if you try to get back into the throttle too soon, you're going to go right to that wall. Now, I didn't see a whole lot of it during the truck race. I kind of wanted to get your take on this track as far as presets go. Is this one of those tracks where you can get away with a higher preset and not really have to worry about getting loose coming off, or are you starting low and working your way higher? I haven't been able to get any kind of a beat on this. It's been kind of a question that's been bugging me.
Yeah, I think if you run a preset one here, you're silly because you're going to have to change so much on pit road. I mean, ideally, I think probably not even a 2. I think the sweet spot here would be a preset 3 through a 6. And, if you run a 6, you're probably going to bump the wedge up. You might run your right front tire a little bit higher than your right rear. So, you definitely got to run a little bit higher preset just so you can turn through the corners. Of course, like we were saying, the draft's so important. But I mean, if you're in a situation where you can't turn in the corners, you're going to drag. You're going to lose so much speed, and it's going to hurt your performance because Indianapolis, just like it is at Pocono out of turn 3, it's all about that launch off of turn 2 and turn 4, which really helps you gain that time here at this track.
Gotcha. Well, it kind of sounds like Spurl out there in chat is pretty much agreeing with you. He's saying anything over a 5 gets super loose over the long run. God Power is also checking in, saying he's going for it on Thursday. God Power, I was updating the points earlier, but you've got to go for it on Thursday. I want to see you, take max points that day. Win both stages, knock it out of the park, kiss those bricks. I'll interview you on Thursday night. Hopefully HD doesn't get stuck on a lake this Thursday, and he's here with me. But God Power, I absolutely wish for you. I'm not going to pick you because you told me not to, because you feel it jinxes you. But I'm absolutely going to be pulling for you. And man, it's going to be a great race again Thursday night. If you're just now checking in, please know Thursday if you can pick first through third in any. I've got a Microsoft Cash card for you, courtesy of the one and only J-Pot. Cole out there saying, go Q-Dog, Bills, Cheese, and Master Killer. Well, I'll tell you what, Cole, between old Stout Whiskey and I think we've got most of J-Paw Army picked to win tonight. I've got Master Killer's been making a lot of noise, as well as Bills and Q, and I'm sorry, who was the, there was Q-Dog? No, it wasn't Q-Dog. I forget who the other two were right now, Stout, but either way, yeah, all J-Paw Army's definitely representing pretty well tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually on Bill's Legend right now. I can't remember what he said. I know he started in the top 8, but he's in 4th place right now. I mean, he looks determined. He's hauling some ass. He actually pulled out there to try to pass Parzel, but where Parzel had the draft of Boehner and Asbel, Bills just couldn't do it. So, this is one of the tracks too. It's hard to, where you're going so fast and speed's so important. It's hard to lift and let someone who's faster than you go by, because if that's the case, you're going to end up getting freight trained by 5 or 6 people. So it's very difficult. It's got to be calculated when you pass, and it's got to be smart about your moves.
Yeah, when you said you were on Bills, I had actually just landed on him as well. Kind of looks like he's got an old Joey Logano paint scheme going tonight, like Shell Pennzoil kind of a scheme.
Oh,
It gets
Harvick
all
scheme.
the colors on the front. What's that?
That's old Kevin Harvick Shell Pennzoil scheme.
You're right.
Old Shell scheme.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Yep. Looks pretty good out there. Yeah, he's all these guys that finally got nose to tail have caught this front pack. So you got Bills in fourth. You got Master Killer right behind him. In front of them, you got the 11 of Parzival. Then the 1 of Asvel. He's made his way back up to second place after hitting the wall earlier and making contact with somebody else. So he's got a fast hot rod, but nobody so far has had anything for the 28. But the draft at this place, as you just said, is huge. Stout, during the truck race, I actually caught guys kind of swerving down the front stretch trying to break the draft from the trucks behind them. I haven't seen a whole lot of that yet, but you know what? We haven't got to the point of the race to where the stage points are up for grabs. They're trying to get up, take the run, get under, get around that person in front of them. Yeah, they're racing, but right now they're just staying together. They want to be there at the end.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's the main thing. And honestly, I guess this is 80 laps as well. And I'm not sure because I didn't check, but I take it it's probably 20 laps, 17 or 18 in the second, or in the second stage, and then around 40 in that last one. So it'd be interesting too as far as the fuel mileage goes here. I know on customs, because I actually raced here Sunday in customs, it was about 12 to 13 laps. So it'd be really interesting if someone could try to spread that out.
Well, if that was the case, I tell you, I asked SWAT, what the first stage was, and I think somebody told me the first stage was about 30 laps, give or take. And
that's right, it's 250, not 200.
Yeah. And as Cowboy just went on by the start finish line, there was 17 to go. This time by is going to be 16, so they're going to be cutting this stage pretty much right in half. I'm waiting for the first round of pit stops for the guys to kick it off, get in, grab 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, fill it up with Sunoco Racing Fuel, get back out on the track, see if they can do it before anybody else. Grab that little bit of an edge, loosening it up or tightening your car if you started higher or lower. And really, if you can get in and kind of manipulate the fuel to where you don't have to take a full tank, start the car off a little bit lighter on 4 brand new tires, that could be in your favor as well.
Absolutely, and Q Dog's here. I'm actually riding with Q Dogs, checking him out. He's actually pinning right now.
There it is. Yeah, actually, there's Asvel. Looks like Asvel
it's like
got
SWAT
past.
Too.
Yep. As he got past Boehner coming on pit road. There's the 29 of Bills as well. So your first several are now on pit road. So it doesn't look like really anybody's going to be able to get that advantage that I was just kind of talking about. But we'll have to see. It's far from over. There's a 98 of Bowling pursuing the 11 of Parzival. There's the 8 of Augustus. Don't look like they've made their way down pit road as of yet. When next time either Cowboy or Boehner make their way past the start-finish line, it should be about 15 to go. So we'll have to see what they're able to do. Here's Bowling on pit road now. Here's Bills in that 29 coming off. Pretty good. I'm watching 19 and the 66 of Mike Honcho. That was your primary pick. That's right. Do a little bit of little dueling here as the 8 of Augustus goes flying on by on the outside. Good for him. Man, I'm curious. In 14 laps, do you think with a bit of drafting we can get those little mini packs back together again?
Yes, but it's going to be if they've got about the same amount of cars, then no, they won't be able to. And it really just depends if if a second group stays in line and then the first group kind of races each other and dukes it out a tad here and there, then yeah, they would be able to catch them. But I mean, if you look here now with Asbel leading, and he's probably got a 30 car length lead on Boehner, and then it's probably another 15 to 20 car lengths back to Bills. They're really looking they're looking good here. So, and then even behind that, you've got Cheese and let's see, I'll tell you. I think it's Cheese, Honcho, or no, it's Cheese, and then you've got the 98 of Bowling, and I can't tell who's in between them. I'm still flipping here.
Well, I tell you what, I just jumped on Boehner's stream. They've got 13 laps remaining. P3 is old Papa Bear, so I'm guessing he hasn't pit yet, trying anything that he possibly can. Then you've got Asbel in 4th, Boehner in 5th, Bills Legend in 6th, and then Cheese that you were just talking about, he's right there in 7th. So they're doing all right. It doesn't look like Papa Bear has pit yet. He might be hoping that a caution will come out, he'll be able to grab it, get into the pits. You got to imagine that everybody would pit if it came out with like 5 or 7 laps remaining. But Papa Bear is he's actually on pit road right now. So Boehner and Asbel and all them are gonna come flying by just as he heads out. And it looks like Asbel's gonna go ahead and take the lead with Boehner, Bills Legend, Cheese, and as you just said, Bowling right there in the top 5 to round it out.
Yeah, so I'm actually watching that group of Cheese, Bowling, and Master Killer. They're going to swallow up Bills here, probably the next lap. And then they'll have a 4-car train, and then that 4-car train can run down Boehner if they'll stay in line. And then you might be able to have a race here for the stage win if that 5 can get hooked up and run down Asbel.
Yep, I'm back there with those guys right now, looking at the 39 of Master Killer. With Cheeseburger 2 cars ahead of him, and they're all trying to latch on to that 29 of Bills Legend to see if he's got the power to pull this pack back up. If not, it's going to be a great race between themselves. But right now, this is something that SWATs did not want to see. I mentioned earlier how close the points battle was between Bills Legend and SWATs. Pretty much by Bills doing what he's doing right now, running up front, he's going to grab some stage points. He's in 3rd place. Unless SWATs is able to communicate this. What's that?
No, I'm saying it's going to be a wrap. Unless they can flip-flop second stage, and then SWATs can finish ahead of them in the last stage.
Exactly. See that? Great minds think alike. You're finishing my sentence. We're getting along famously. But yeah, these guys are definitely hauling 29s, trying to pull them all up the best he can. And with a few of his J-PA Army teammates pretty close by, they're not going to challenge him much. They're going to say, you know what? You need the points. We want to see you in the top 12 starting next week at Las Vegas. Go get them. And Bills has already told me in pre-race, he is all about Vegas because he feels a little bit slighted that I only interviewed the winner earlier in the season. He wants to be up there in the booth talking to you and me at the end, and he's not going to accept anything less. So if he's running a good line right now, he's up in the top 3 to wrap up stage 1. He's going to be riding something pretty smooth getting into Vegas next week.
Absolutely, and if they can stay hooked together here, and it looks like Boland's actually passing him for 3rd right now. But if they can stay together here and ride around, and they can possibly catch up to Boehner, because Boehner is actually reeling in Asbel. I actually flipped over to Boehner, so they really need to try to catch Boehner before he gets hooked up to Asbel, because then that 2-car train, and then if it's a 4 or 5-car train, it's just going to be difficult to catch those 2 guys who are obviously pretty quick every week.
Oh yeah, I mean you've got to consider Boehner and Asbel, Bowling, big favorites going into the chase as the season comes to a close. The 4 races next over the next month, and then the eliminator round, and then finally it all comes to an end. It all culminates at Atlanta Motor Speedway when we will crown 3 champions. We know for sure that there will be a new champion here in the Xfinity Series. Watt is trying to defend his title in the Truck Series, and of course the Aviator is trying to defend his title in the Cup Series. So there could be 3 new. There could be, it's really up in the air. We're seeing a lot of really fast, really strong cars this year. And despite these 2 in first and second really whooping up every week, man, nobody's just going to throw in the towel and hand it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're talking about that. I mean, for sure, we're going to have a different Xfinity champion from last year just because Xfinity is full-time Cup. But, we could see Watt repeat. Aviator's been strong. We could see Aviator repeat in the Cup, or like you said, we could have 1 new champion, 2 new champions, or 3 new champions. So.
Yep. Let's see. Just checking in here with Cowboy on his stream. Looks like 7 laps remaining. Looks like the gap between Asbel and the 28 has kind of come to a little bit of a standstill. They've been holding strong, holding steady between 1.5 and 1.3. Back in 9th place is NNR Cowboy. So he's got the second to last position where stage points are awarded. However, just as I say that, he's actually under a little bit of fire here from the 97 of Fatless Dig. He just allowed, not quite sure who that is in front of him to get on by, but the 19 doesn't want to just give these points away. Yeah, it's still early, but stage points can mean a whole lot when you're talking about having some extra cushion or some extra bank when we get to the next round. You need as many points as you can, as much of a cushion as you can build up. So if you have a bad race or 2, you've got even just a couple points in the bank helps.
Absolutely. And we were talking about Bills separating from slots. Well, we failed to mention Q Dogs, because if Bills is able to get stage points here and supplant Q Dogs, and that puts Q Dogs back in that position of oh crap, we got to sweat it out, make sure we get a good finish. So
yeah, we absolutely do. Cameron Card, thanks for checking into the stream tonight. Definitely appreciate it. This is the NNR Xfinity Series from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As Spurl and the other guys mentioned, this is an Xbox league, the best default league on Xbox, utilizing 704 games Heat 4. Please, by all means, go on up, smash that follow button, hit the subscribe if you can, hit the notifications so you know every time we go live. We're pretty much here every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night. Sundays with the trucks, Tuesdays when the one and only Stout Whiskey and I bring you all the action, and on Thursday nights I get to hang out with the one and only HD Motorsports to call the Cup Series. But please go ahead and hit that follow, and don't be a stranger. We love to chat with everybody. But Stout, that little group that Cowboys trying to defend against, looks like he was able to get Mike Honcho back in behind him, and he was able to fend off Fatless Dig as well. So good job by Cowboys so far.
absolutely. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on that little small group. Cheese has actually pulled a little bit away here from Master Killer, and then behind Master Killer, Bills is falling there, and then Bolin looks like he's lost about 10 or 12 car lengths off of them. So that little second group's like they're thinning out just a tad.
Yep, I'm actually on the field view for the 84 of Cheeseburger now, and I can definitely see he's got Master Killer right behind him, and they're trying to get hooked back up. It just hasn't been able to work as of yet. There's old Alpha York checking in right along with Cassidy 88 saying, "Go J-Paw Army." I tell you, Stout, J-Paw Army has an army of followers that check into these streams, no matter whether it's Xfinity or Cup. It's always great to see. And the one and only General just checked in. Yeah. So I tell you, these J-Paw cars, they're no slouch. They're here to contend every single week.
Yeah, I don't know if he's like, I don't know if J-Paw, like, you know, I'm friends with him, and maybe he hasn't exposed it to me. It's like he's like a cult leader or something, man. You know, he's got all these like little groupies and stuff. Oh, it's kind of freaky.
Yeah, he's got a whole crew that kind of follows him around. You know, I've raced with J-Paw in Dirty Mo Racing when it was under Day Tripper, and I had a lot of fun with that. With a lot of the guys, Cheeseburger was in there, Cole was in there, Chain Graboid, Master Killer. I mean, a whole host of guys. Mets fan. That was a lot of fun. Raced for part of the season, and then broadcasting kind of got a little itch for that, and started having some fun doing that before we were able to grab the old card to be able to stream it, make it look a little bit more professional. But man, that there's a lot of people that race with J-Paw, and just like you know, once you get around the guy, it's kind of infectious. He's a great guy to be around. Loves to laugh, loves to cut up. But if some kids kind of step out of line now and then, talking about maybe the one and only Cheeseburger, he's not afraid to lay the smack down either.
Yeah, Cheeseburger is actually J-Paw's favorite driver to race around. So.
Oh, good times. I actually miss some of the guys from that old league. And I know I've told you before a couple times, some of these guys should be pretty lucky that old Chain Graboid's not in NNR anymore, because he would absolutely tear some track up, walk away with a few trophies, as it looks like we're under our first caution for the first stage. So Asbel and Bain are going to get it done right there. We're going to take our first small commercial break. We were talking earlier about how to follow NNR. Well, go ahead and check this out.
Hey NNR fans, don't miss any of the action by following or subscribing to Repeat's Twitch channel. Turn on notifications and you'll always know when the best preset league on Xbox hits the track. Check out his YouTube channel too to see all of NNR's past races. Follow No Name Racing as well as Repeat 1975 and others on Twitter, and you'll never miss any of the action.
All right, here we are, coming back to green. The 128 and is the 84 of Cheese and the 29 of Bill's Legend. That's going to be your top four, with the 11 of Parzival rounding out your top five, still side by side for second. The 29 giving a big shove to old Cheese right now. Now they're going to be three wide for second place. Stout, I'm guessing that Stage 1 is in the books. We know where those points went. Stage 2 is going to be anybody's game. Stage 3 is where it's all at. That's going to tell us for sure who's going to head on to the round of 12 starting next week at Las Vegas. You've got Mike Honcho, and you've got, I think you said Bill's Legend, if I'm not mistaken. Well, both of them right now are doing pretty well. Bill's Legend is in the top 4. I think Mike Honcho's in the top 8. Not too bad of a pick.
Absolutely. I was actually doing some quick math so I can get this updated on this, kind of this race for the 11th and 12th spot. So Q-Dogs didn't get any stage points. SWATs didn't get any stage points. And starting off there, Q-Dogs had 16, Bills had 8, and SWATs had 5. Well, Bills was able to get 7 stage points, so Q-Dogs is sitting at 16. Bills at 15 and SWATs is at 5. So SWATs has to get stage points here somehow, some way.
Yeah, right now it's kind of mired back in traffic. I don't know if that's going to happen. As you watch the 84 and the 1 go door to door coming off 1-8, the 1 absolutely had the line, and 84 was not able to get back in the gas, the same as the 1 and the 28. Will move Bill's Legend up to P3. Cheeseburger in P4, 11 now P5. Under attack from Mike Honcho, top 5.
Oh yeah, they're getting at it. That's the main thing here, man. Is staying together. You can race like this in a group because I mean this is basically a super speedway, and especially with the way the draft system is on heat. But as you see there, Bills, man, Bills is still trying to make stuff happen. I think Bills got a really good car on the short run, and I think it gets a little too tight later on. So we'll see. Maybe he loosened it up some more. As you see Boehner there, Boehner almost ate the apron there, but he was able to get it gathered, and it's like he's getting in the coming out of the turn very clean.
Yeah, look at it. This looks like a conga line coming down the front straightaway here. Here comes Cheeseburger looking to the inside of the 28 of Boehner. He should have that preferred line, but the question is going to be, is he going to be able to get the gas down, get that throttle down to where he can come off the corner and remain side by side, try to keep the bottom line all the way through 3 and 4. I know you really only have to burp it in those corners. I'm sorry, that was 1 and 2. Here comes 3 and 4. I know you've only got to burp it in those corners specifically, and you really get back into gas really quick because the rear end kind of kicks out as long as your car's not too tight. But these guys up front getting after it. I don't think the 28 Boehner's really going to have that lead for very long if J-Pow Army has anything to say about it.
No, absolutely, and that's the thing, man. Is are you paced or not? And as you see, Aswell pull out here. Well, it's the same thing that happened on the backstretch because Bills are trying to make something happen. Cheese has been trying to make something happen, and the problem is everybody just wants to stay on that outside line instead of trying to push that guy by. I mean, the easiest thing to do here is if someone's trying to pass, is to push them by and then just hop back in line. Like we were able to do that Sunday night. I'd help somebody push them by, and then help them clear the car in front of them, and then I would just drop behind that car. It just really depends. It's one of those situations where it's kind of like Daytona and Talladega, where you just want to race or do you just want to gain a spot. So we'll see as this goes. I'll tell you this: Aswell's definitely not. He looks like he's not happy riding in second place. So
yeah, even though Boehner and Aswell work together very often, they're still extremely competitive when it comes to the track. And you kind of liken the draft here to a Daytona or Talladega. I tell you what, was it Monday night? No, it wasn't Monday night. One of the I think it might have been Saturday night or Sunday. I ran with I just saw Alpha York here in chat. I actually ran with him in the American Ethanol Series race at Talladega. I actually got to run with him and Rock NASCAR and a few other special invites to get that race in. And even though it was part of their chase, he still let us go in, and I streamed the race for them. That was probably the most fun I've ever had at Talladega with 16 to 20 cars on track. We were taking runs going 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide, not really worried about that whole bottom line, all over the place. Stout, you should go back and take a look at that stream. It was all kinds of fun. And Alpha York, if you're still out there, thank you very much for that invite. It was a blast. I'm sure we'll get it done again sometime this season. But again, want to thank you for that invite. You just watched the 84 of old Cheeseburger kind of tagged that wall there just a little bit. Didn't really lose too much momentum. He's going to be able to jump right back in line behind Master Killer, as you talked about before. And keep it going.
See, now they're in a situation where they could have raced each other to make something happen, and now they're the only situation they're in now is, hey, we got to stay on the draft if we're going to try to keep up that front two. So
yeah, the front two have pulled away. I think when the 84 Cheeseburger tagged that wall just a little bit, it separated. They had to check up, make sure they weren't gonna wreck behind or hit the person in front of them. So it's just kind of a chain reaction. But now they've got to regroup, get back together, get back in line, keep the throttle down, keep up. I'm sure with Bill's legend, Mash Killer, Q Dog, Bills. I'm sure that they've probably shared a bit of their notes, so they know what they've got. They've probably practiced this draft and can try to work their way back up, catch the 28 and the 1 again, if at all possible.
Absolutely.
Still kind of working through. There's the 8 of Augustus. Haven't really talked a whole lot about him. He's back here all by himself. Not quite sure why or how he lost the draft, but looking ahead, there's like one car going into the corner, and looking behind him, there's absolutely nobody. So the 8 car has the track all to himself. As we see the 39 of Master Killer duck down underneath the 11 of Parsville, grab onto that old 29, and see if he can't give him a big shove down these straightaways.
Yeah, we'll talk about Augustus. I mean, Augustus is sound in the next round, so he's probably just like, meh, just going to ride around here. I'm going to drink some of this whiskey in this glass, kind of just chill out. Just count the laps down. But it's interesting, man. Like I said, I really thought with Bills, as far as being, of course we know that Bills had a little extra motivation coming in, but, Bills just came to advance. And, Q-Dog's probably just playing it smart. I just honestly expected a little bit more out of Q-Dogs and SWATs, especially being on that cutoff line. But, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, if SWAT's going to do anything, he's got to hope for a caution to get group back up, try to figure out what exactly he's got to do to free that car up, or maybe tighten it up. We don't know how that car is handling. Haven't really spent a whole lot of time on the 51 with all the act happening elsewhere on track, but from third on back, these little packs have really been where all the racing's at, and it is mostly Bills and Master Killer and Bowling and the 11 of Parsville and the 84 Cheeseburger. As we watch the 29 go around after hitting that grass. Great save by Bills. I tell you what, he that could have been a whole lot worse. He didn't get any damage. He just lost his momentum, but he's able to complete the 360, spin it around, grab a gear, get back into gas, and Bills is away.
Well, that means, that first stage was even more important because he was able to get those 7 points. Because, if he doesn't get those points and that happens, it could wind up being devastating.
Absolutely. Next time these guys come on by, I'll go ahead and grab a lap count. Let's see, a little bit of a battle here between Mike Honcho and the 36 of Jay Quim. I haven't really talked about Jay Quim all that much tonight either. He's definitely up there, not too far off the back bumper of NNR Cowboy. Kind of work back up. Here's old Q-Dog now. There's the 51 of SWAT's rocking that Tunity Toyota. Car looks like it's all in one piece, Stout. I don't see any issues with any of the fenders. The hood doesn't look bowed up. It's not out of sorts. It might just be lacking speed. He might have gone with too high of a preset, as you see him getting really, really loose coming off the corner. That could be what's ailing this 51.
Absolutely, and guys are starting to pit now. The leaders are on pit road. I flipped the Bills, man. Bills is definitely loose. I don't know if he definitely loosened it up too much there on that pit stop because, he was hauling the mail first 5 or 6 laps, but it's like it's going away completely, so he's going to have to tighten that thing back up, go back on those changes. Yeah, maybe, it's just really going to come down to this, if especially with SWATs SWATs is going to have to win this race to advance if he's unable to get, a significant amount of stage points here.
Yeah, you mentioned that guys are pitting. Here comes the 1 and the 28 off pit road, nose to tail, and looks like the 28 is going to be able to hold serve coming through the apron all the way through 1 and 2, going to merge onto the straightaway. No oncoming traffic. Goes to speak of the gap that they had back to third, but first and second now separated by about a good second and a half, and they've got 14 laps to go. So Stout seems just like the first stage where they are splitting stage 2 right down the middle.
And that's smart. I mean, if once you reach your fuel window here, man, you need to go ahead and pit. Just unless you can play the fuel game and make it on one less stop or something, because otherwise, I mean, the tires are so important here, and this place is so massive. It's not like it's a short track where you can stay out 3 or 4 laps extra. Or, if you don't pit and someone pits before you 2 or 3 laps, you're going to lose a second and a half on them at least. So you can make it on this stop here. Go ahead and get on and get 4 fresh rubbers, some of that Sunoco fuel, and roll out.
Yeah, and you're talking about making up time on the track. With 4 brand new tires, the car acting the way you want it to, it's going to get through it's going to cut through those first corners like a hot knife through butter. You're not going to have to really worry about a whole lot. But also at the get-go, just because you have a car that can handle like that, you may not want to abuse it the first few laps. And keep your tires pretty decent for the long run. Now, splitting the stage down the middle, I don't know exactly how far they're stretching it on fuel, or if they're waiting, or if the tire lights are coming on or anything like that. So they may just be waiting until they get to the very tip of their fuel window and then getting in. Kind of making me think about Pop Bear stretching it out earlier and a couple others. So we'll have to see. Keep going through the field here. I have to see if Bill's Legend is able to make up any time after that spin when he made contact with the turf. But so far he's looking pretty good. A little bit of a battle here between the 36 of Jay Quim and the 19 of Cowboy Matt. Pretty spread out now here, Stout. Pretty spread out.
Yeah, I see very few cars that's hooked up here, just cycling through. I will say this about the pitting, man. Just one more thing. If you've got the lead, or if you're up there in the front and you can stretch it out, another lap or 2 laps, that's fine, because even if those cars behind you catch up to you, you're going to have those fresher tires, and you'll be able to go right by them. But if you're trying to keep pace with somebody in front of you, the best thing to do is just to go ahead and come in with them.
Yeah. Talk about people going in with each other. I mentioned that the 28 and the 1 came off pit road kind of together. Well, this 1 of Asville has hunted this 28 down. He had about a good second and a half over the 1. Now the 1 rocking that Steve Park throwback is all over the back bumper of this 28. Going through the corners, he's sticking right with him. Going down the straightaway, he's taking that draft and pulling himself ever closer. And I tell you, by the time they get to 3 and 4, that 1 is going to be all over, like literally on the back bumper of the 28, maybe even trying for the lead. As we see it here, there's the 1 down low, 28 up high, 28 trying not to make contact with the wall. Little lag out of the 1. Here they come now, side by side through 3 and 4. 28's going to be able to retain the lead as they come down this front stretch, and I think this is going to be right around 10 to go here, Stout.
Yeah, and Asville did the right thing there. I mean, if you're going to pass here, the easiest or the most effective way is definitely out of turn 4 and out of turn 2, just because of that long straight. Trying to pass somebody in the corner, you can do it, but you're going to bog each other down so much, and especially being on the inside. If you're one of those people that's not going to risk it for the biscuit, what I mean is putting that guy on the outside on the wall, then it's a dead move. You're not going to be able to pass them, and then you're going to go too wide down the backstretch into turn 3 or into turn 1, and it's just going to be pointless. They did the right thing. He dropped off. He got back behind him, and see if he'll set up that move I was just talking about.
Yeah, if you can get down low, get under the guy without making contact, just force him up because these corners are so tight. You can easily move on up, grab that spot, and move on. And if you've got a car as fast as the 28 is going to be hard pressed to be able to catch you, especially if he's burning his stuff up to try to block you. So that battle between the 1 and 28 should be pretty good as we get closer and closer to the end of stage 2. The next flag to come out will be the green and white checkered. We still got a little ways to go before we see the traditional black and white. Got a whole nother stage. 97 to Fatless Dig. Again, rocking those green and white. Those green and white Kurt Busch or Chad, colors. Chad Little, there we go. I actually saw a diecast that somebody was selling on eBay for the old 97. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was actually looking forward to catching up with the Xfinity race because Jesse Little was racing, and I follow him on Twitter. Man, he's talking about having his dad at the track, and this is the difference how people prepare. But Jesse Little was complaining the fact that Chad had him at the track like 12 hours before the race started, and he didn't understand. And it's just this old school guy. It's how he prepares. It's like being there physically, and crossing them T's and dotting them I's. That's all that is. But as I'm blabbering here, we got Aswell this past Boehner for the lead.
I don't know. Boehner looks like he's pulling
Boehner's
back to
there,
the inside. Yeah. They're gonna come to the line side by side, man. If that was the end of the race, that would have been a great drag race. But looks like Boehner's going to be up high. One's going to be down low. Boehner's still going to be able to hold the one at bay. The best thing he can do, and I can just hear HD yelling in my ear, he's got to pinch him down. He's got to pinch him down. And that's exactly what he's got to try to do. Again, Boehner to the inside, the one to the outside, dragging down the back stretch, going into 3 and 4. Man, these guys are great competitors. They're racing hard amongst themselves because they know how each other race. They know how they know they can handle it. They trust each other. These guys are putting on a show all by themselves, but that 28 is hooked to that back bumper, pushing him all the way down this. Let's see if he actually checks up going into 1, or maybe pushes him a little bit further than his comfort zone to mess him up. Nope, 28, being the gentleman he is, got off the 1's bumper and still racing hard through 1 and 2 now.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to kind of like what I was talking about before, man, you saw how being on the inside and going through the corners, I just bogged them both down, and neither one of them was able to do anything. Well, Boehner, versus Aswell, Boehner gave Aswell a little bit more room in the corners and actually drifted up more. And Aswell pinched Boehner down, and that's why he was able to get that lead off the corner, just because Boehner couldn't rev it up and keep it beside him unless he wanted to door him.
Yep, you got it. And these guys are truly gonna. I mean, they're gonna finish it out amongst themselves. Next time, I just missed Boehner's count, so next time looks like. They'll have 5 laps remaining right now. Cowboy looks like he's back in about 8th place, right behind Jay Quim in 7th. So we'll have, let's see, I believe this is going to be 4 to go.
Well, you've got the front 2 duking it out here, for position. And then I'm pretty sure it's Plausible and Cheese here in 3rd and 4th place. Of course, I can't see wish we had a ticker. They're kind of duking it out.
Yeah.
And flipping back here, you got Master Killer a little bit behind them, and then Bolin is spaced out there behind Master Killer. So Master Killer is your 5th place vehicle at the moment, and Bolin's 6th. And I think, who'd you say was in 7th place? Jay Quims.
Jay Quim. Yep, Jay Quims. Yep.
Yeah, so you got, so for those guys wondering, Jay Quims is 7th, Cowboys 8th, Bill's Legends 9th, and looks like Fatless Diggs is rounding out the top 10.
And I tell you what, you look at that 39 car, there is no question who that throwback is to, because it looks just like the Monday Kevin Harvick paint schemes. I actually wanted that paint scheme, what he ran at Atlanta, and I think he actually won the race with that silver and black with the red pinstriping. Man, that car looks
That was a sick
super
ass
sweet.
scheme, man.
Yes, it
So
is.
nasty.
Yep. Yeah, that was actually one of the die casts that I was looking for, just like the A10 Warthog for Bubba Wallace. But man, I gotta wait till they come down in price before I go spending that kind of cash. But man, yeah, you know, I talk about the die casts every now and then. I'll have to take a picture of my my streaming setup here with the die casts I've got in front of me. It's a pretty good little setup here. But keep still going through the field. Just caught up with the 98 of FNL Bowling. Nobody anywhere near him. Nobody around. Kind of has the track to himself, so he can try to run those pace laps all by himself, hit his marks, not have to worry about the draft. But because he's not worrying about the draft, he's losing time to these guys that are pushing hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at Honcho's car, man. I think Honcho's running an old Robert Presley throwback. I know he's got to rock the red rims and red numbers because I know that's what Smitty wanted the Chase guys to do. But,
Yep.
remember old Robert Presley ran the 59 Alliance car?
Funny enough, every time I see these black and gold colors, I think of Morgan Shepherd. But yeah, Morgan Presley definitely ran those. Smokey Unick ran those colors. I mean, there have been a few guys that have made the black and gold very famous. But I keep going back to Morgan Shepherd, probably because of a story that a buddy of mine, Shadow Champ, told me about him a while back. Back when Morgan Shepherd was really hurt, you know, being the small team that he is, him and his brother gave Morgan Shepherd the money, every bit of money that they had in their banks at the time. I mean, just gave it to them. But it came back to them tenfold. Morgan Shepherd's group got back in touch with the kids at the time and left them Daytona 500 tickets at the gate for the next 5 years. So, man, you want to talk about, you know, paying it forward and then you know, your good deed not going unnoticed. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love Morgan Shepherd, dude.
Let's see here. Catching up with the 19 and the 29, and the 39 of Master Killer. All those guys kind of nose to tail. 19's pulling the 29 along. Yeah, it's still worth through. You got the 51 and the 9 of Q-Dog nose to tail. Kind of a little bit of a battle there. There's 95 Pop Bear getting a little loose. Hold on to it, Pop Bear. And it looks like that is going to be the end of stage 2. It's going to be Asbel and Boehner 1-2. I think it's kind of just a reverse from earlier. So let's go ahead and check out NNRleague.com and see. Take a look at these new keychains in his Zazzle tab.
Hey NNR fans, are you looking for a way to rep your favorite NASCAR Heat Preset League on Xbox Live? Look no further. Just go to NNRleague.com, scroll down to the Zazzle tab, and see what we have to offer. From t-shirts to hoodies to clocks, we have everything you need to show your support. Thanks for being the best fans, and we hope to see you at the track repping that NNR red.
All right, just working down the last few seconds here of their pit. So now look at this, Stout. I'm going to guess that 51 forgot to pit because he is now up front. He's going to drop like a rock unless somebody else had some issues. But right now it's the 1 of Asbel and the 51 of Swats, and Swats is just going to be made light work of. He's going to drop to the back. I'm guessing he didn't pit. I think that's going to spell doom for that 51 right from the get-go here as we start stage 3. I have a feeling that 51 is not going to advance to the round of 12.
Yeah, never say never, man. You never know what happened. Hey, maybe he's trying a different strategy here. Maybe he knows that no matter what, he's got to pit, 2 times, 3 times, or whatever, and he decided to give himself the best track position. Unfortunately, didn't work out. Looks like Boehner might have got a little piece of him there on accident, of course, just because Boehner's fresh tires is so much quicker. But yeah, definitely how you want to start here at this final stage.
No, you definitely want to. Man, it's nice when something like that does work out. If you take it and say, you know what, there's 2 laps to go. I'm far enough from the leaders. If I go in, take right side tires, and then during the stage take just left side. Well, you can't take just left sides in this game, I forget. But just take rights and fill it up. See what you can do on that. If you've tested, make sure your car's not going to get too loose. I mean, there's definitely things you can try. I got to give him credit for trying anything. He knows that he's not up there on speed. Maybe get a quick caution, get in there, get the pits, come back out, and see what kind of track position you can steal. But so far, not working out really for the 51. Let's see, here's the 36 of Jay Quinn looking at the front. And just as we're talking about the 51, he is now coming off pit road, riding that apron all the way around, merging back in on the backstretch. He will go a lap down. As you see, at least the top 10 go flashing on by. $19 to Cowboy and $9 to Q-Dog. Yeah, as you mentioned a minute ago, Stout, these red rims and red numbers on the door, that indicates everyone that is part of the chase. So this week, you see 15 cars on track, or 16 cars on track with the red rims and red numbers. Next week it'll just be 12. The next round of the chase will be down to 8, and then 4. And then finally, we're crowning a champion at Atlanta. It's only 9 weeks away, so it's coming up pretty fast.
Yeah, absolutely. After this week, we've got 8 races left, because I think 8 races, because I feel like the third round we've only got 3 races in it. Maybe it's 4. I can't remember.
Yeah, there's 4. I'm guessing Coey forgot to put one up there. I think it's Michigan, Martinsville, and 2 others. I forget what they are though. They're not on the chase grid, but they are on the year calendar, or the calendar, if you go by the schedule. Let's see here. And guys, if you want to take a look at the schedule that NNR runs, please, by all means, go to nnrleague.com. The website is right there in blue, right above the points that are scrolling below it. And take a look at the schedule that NNR runs. If you want to look at the full schedule, where they've ran, who's finished where, and all that, top right-hand side, and there's a drop down right there. Just take a look at their schedule. You can see what tracks they've got coming up. These guys are well aware every week of where they need to be. If it's a track that they're not particularly great at, maybe it's a track they've got to put a little bit more focus on, and hook it up. But I'll tell you what, I just caught back up with this pack in the front, Stout, and we're talking 7 cars, all nose to tail, going down this long backstretch. And they are dicey. They're side by side.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I saw Boehner dropping back there for a minute. I was like, well, maybe he's going ahead and doing some type of fuel strategy, but he's back on it. But you're right, man. It's from Asville all the way back to Augustus. They're getting at it, man. They're nose to tail, and that's what you got to do. You got to keep it this way. Yeah, you can try to make a move to pass somebody, but then you've got to make sure you get right back in line, or you're just going to lose so much time.
Yeah, nose to tail. Looks like the 29 is going to try to look to the inside, and he was actually able to make that pass on Boehner. And now he's got his eyes set on, I believe that's the 11 of Parzival. Yeah, the 11 of Parzival. So now Bill's Legend's going to look to the outside of Parzival with Boehner right behind him going into the corner. Parzival checked up, allowed the 29 in. 28's going to actually lose another spot to the 84 of. Nope, actually it's going to be the 19 of Cowboy. So Parzival or Boehner dropping back a couple more spots. I'm wondering if he's struggling or if he might be just staying in the draft, saving a little bit of fuel. But look at
I don't know.
New leader, 29. Where you at, J-Pa? Got to get on this 29 and look backwards. Let's see. Let's kind of take a look at his view, looking back. It's got to be a great feeling as he's watching this gap back to the one kind of pull away a little bit coming off the corner, but then the one has the draft all the way down these straightaways. But right now, yeah, the 29 has the car to beat. He was able to get under the one. He's pulling away off of 3 and 4. Looks like the 28 might be getting a little loose, so that might have been why the 20 washed back a little bit stout. But yeah, 29's looking pretty strong right now.
Yeah, the crazy thing, you're talking about Bills, and we're talking about Gooses taking a Sunday drive there in the second stage, but he's up in third place in that last set of corners. He was actually looking underneath Aswell trying to get a run. So yeah, man. Hey, this is what it's all about. Someone you think is struggling, and then bam, here they are, and nothing was wrong. They were just either playing cat and mouse, or like I said, was just chilling.
Yeah, and you know what? The cars that won the first 2 stages, they're now nose to tail in 3rd and 4th. They're still losing spots as looks like who's this right behind this 29. I'm trying to move back up here.
That's a Gooses.
Yeah, there you go. So let me go ahead and grab Boehner's stream here right quick. When next time one of them comes on by, I'll grab a lap count. You figure we're about 5 or 6 laps into stage 3. I talked earlier about watching the trucks try to break the draft, and it looks like the 29 tried to break the draft from the 8 of Augustus, and instead he actually missed his entrance into the corner and had to check up a little bit too much. That allowed the 8 to get on by, and here comes the 28. 29 got wicked loose coming off that corner, lost momentum completely, and that's going to allow, looks 3 more cars to go on by that 29. It looks like we've got 27 laps remaining, so it looks like this is going to be another stage where they will just split it right down the middle. Boehner right there in P2. The other guy that I'm following along on his stream, Cowboy, he's back there in 11th. And it looks like they've all got, I'm going to guess they've all got right around 7 or 8 laps of fuel left in the tank. So they may have to pit twice, maybe just a splash and go on the second one. We'll have to see. I don't think any of them were tested really when it came to the first and second stop, because again, it looked like they were kind of splitting it right down the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually riding with Bills, man. Whatever Bills has got is great for a 4 or 5 lap shootout. Like, you can win the race with that, but it's like it's just too loose. And back down this. And that's the thing here, man. Like, if you come off the corner, it's kind of like Michigan Auto Club. Like, if you come off the corner too high, you're going to get loose, man, especially if you're already loose. So here you really want to drive it up off the bottom and drive it up towards the wall, just like you do at Michigan and Auto Club. And anytime you're up high like that and you got to turn off the corner, it's no bueno.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. You gotta be able to turn it off the track, and almost actually, if you're loose, turn it to the right just a little bit to where you're in a bit of a controlled slide all the way off, and then book it down the straightaway. You're not losing too much speed, and you're able to stay in contention. But it looks like the 29 might have heard you. He's down low, back underneath the one of Asbel. He's going to try that low line, but Asbel looks like he's going to kind of pinch him down just a little bit. Have to see if that actually puts Asbel in the wall. Kind of scraped it just a bit. That's going to allow the 29 to dig a little bit more. And a 29, a little bit of contact there almost. 29 pulled back off, and that's going to allow the 36 to get on by or pull underneath him.
Yeah, that's like what I was saying, man. He's just a tad too loose. So when he was underneath him, and he had to turn down off of him, make sure he didn't hit him. It's just wanting to spin out on it.
Yep.
But he's driving the piss out of it. I give him that, dude. Bills is raising King. He's right back at it now behind Quims.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on right now, following back from the roof cam, and Quims was just behind the one of Boehner. They're going to try to get by old Master Killer here in the 39. Looks like Quinn's going to have a line underneath. He's going to try to follow that one. Quinn's going to get by. Here comes the 29, also right on by. And yeah, he is wicked loose coming off these corners, not able to control it. He can't wait to get within that fuel window to get in, tighten this up just a little bit. I'm thinking maybe a pound out of the right rear, maybe a half pound in. Whoa! Maybe a half pound in the left rear. Yeah, he's wicked loose to try to corral this baby. So otherwise, there's going to be a caution, and he doesn't want to be the caution because then you got to go to the back.
Mm-hmm. He did a good job there. He barely got into Cheese, but I could have been bad. He could have toggled Cheese there, but he didn't. Good job by Bills.
Yep. Let's see.
Well, I'm looking, man. I'm trying to figure out what this, this little second group here is going to do, because Quims, we were talking about Quims finishing in 7th. I guess he's still finishing 7th in that second stage. It looks like his cars came to life, and he's all over Bowling here. With Bowling and this Bowling's in 3rd place.
Let's see. I believe you're 100%.
Or is it 4th? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Bowling, and then Jay Quim, and then the one of Asbel, then Master Killer, Cheeseburger, and then the 29 of Bill's Legend. So, yeah. Now we'll have to see. I mean, obviously, Bill's fires off really, really fast. If he can get into the pits, grab those Eagle feel goods, come on out, not lose any time, and tighten that car up just enough to where he doesn't get loose after 6 or 7 laps, he might have a piece to contend. Could get back up into the top 3 to where we're talking to him after the race. From where he is right now, that's definitely not out of reach.
Yeah, I would definitely. I would say go up a 10th on the wedge and go down in the right rear a quarter pound. Just based off what I'm seeing.
84 Cheese giving 66 of Mike Honcho, a little bit of a shot going into that corner. No harm, no foul. Cheese again backing up. Looks like he's able to get into the corner a little bit better, but Honcho is able to get through a little bit quicker. Here comes Cheese checking to the inside of the 66. But the 66 has the draft of the 39, so he's going to be able to stay ahead. Looks like 39 made a little bit of contact with the wall. That made the 66 check up, and that's going to allow Cheese to be able to pull right to the inside, going through turns 3 and 4 side by side. Mike Honcho is going to concede, give the spot to the 84. 29 is going to try to follow, but no dice down the straightaway. I'll grab us a lap count next time either Boehner or Cowboy come on by, but we've got to be, I'm going to guess, high teens here, Stout.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Around 17 or 18 to go here. Yeah, it looks like I went back up to the front, and that second, or that big pile of cars there, they're going to catch Boehner. But now I see them, they're all thinning out, showing they're going to pit.
Yeah. Checking in with Cowboy right now. His fuel light is on, so it looks like when they were pitting after about 15 or 17 laps in stage 1 and 2, it was because they had to come in on fuel 29. Whoa it up, Bills. Good job. He tried locking him up, pulling into pit road, coming off 4, and just about spun it out. I'm guessing he probably downshifted, got it woed up, hit the brakes, and he was trying to make up as much time as he could on pit road. It's going to be interesting to see where this 29 comes off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw there, Bolin was passing and Goose is there. Bolin must have sped on pit road because I barely saw a glimpse of it, but it looked like he was hauling the mail getting in the pit road. And there's no way, especially with the track position he had, that he would be a lap down. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see here.
All right, kind of leaving it right here on the 29. You see him exit pit road. He's going to be able to get in front of the 39, be able to get in front of the 84. Oh, no. Please don't tell me. I think the 29 just lagged out.
Disconnected.
Oh, that could. Well, he might have enough money might have enough points in the bank for this stage.
Good.
I don't know how Koei tabulates that, but that could be really bad for Bills right there.
Based off the math, right now he's either 11 or 12 points ahead of SWAT, so he's good.
All right. Well,
because the worst he can finish is 15th or 16th. SWAT's would have to finish in 3rd.
Gotcha. Looks like here's Mike Honcho on pit road, getting back on out here. There's the 19 of Cowboys, kind of all by himself. 9 of Q-Dog. Again, nobody anywhere near him. There's the 51 of SWAT's, kind of grabbing a little bit of from the 95 of Papa Bear. Papa Bear's going to do the right thing, let him go on by, but it looks like the 51 got a little loose. They're going to stay nose to tail. Here comes the 28 of Boehner coming off pit road. Let's see. He's going to try to blend right in with the 1 of Asbel. I'm sorry, that was the 1 of Asbel, not the 28.
I'll tell you this. I was totally wrong on thinking that Bolin had a pit road speeding penalty because pitting like he did early and getting hard on it, it looks like he's going to be in 2nd or 3rd position here.
All right. Well, I'll see if I can grab a top 5, top 10 between Cowboy and Boehner. Right now, Cowboy doesn't have his up. He's just showing me that he's in P10, but he's going through 3 and 4 right now. So I'll grab us a lap count once he comes to that yard of bricks here at Indy.
Yeah, so we still got Augustus in 1st, Bolin's 2nd, Boehner's 3rd. Boehner's going to pass Bolin here for 2nd, and then you've got Clemson 4th. Looks like Cheese is 5th, and then 6th I think is Asbel.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Definitely saw quite a few guys come zipping on by Asbel as he was coming off pit road, and just where the 19 went across the line right there was 17 laps remaining here in the final stage. Looks like Bowling, he's going to try to woe it up, get down pit road. So he might have. No, that's right. They don't have to do a drive-through for Black Flag. The game automatically gives it to you. Instead of a 15-second stop, they crank it up to 30. So, but Bowling is back on pit road. Let's see.
Maybe he's just taking a splash of fuel only here. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. Anything is possible.
Which is smart. I mean, if you can get it here on just a splash of fuel, it's definitely easier to pit on newer tires than older tires as far as getting low down or to avoid spinning out. So, and plus the field minus, it looks like Quims and Cheese and the 2 guys behind him, Master Killer and Asbel, they're the only one that's going to be drafting. So it's not going to hurt him at all. It's probably a smart move here.
talk about a guy that made some smart moves, and I'm really going to be curious to see how the points shake out when Coey does them in the Truck Series. Right now I'm on the 95 of Papa Bear. I've talked a bit about him every now and then. Lives in Randleman. Most of his family's up north. They keep touch. They check into the streams every now and then, root on their old man. But Papa Bear was able to come away with a top 10 the other night, and I think he only needed like 7 or 8 points, and I think they had 16 or 17 cars on track for the trucks. It's really going to be interesting to see how the points are added up, where he finished in the stages, and if Papa Bear is actually going to move on to the top 9 for the trucks. In the trucks, it's going to go. It's 12, 9, 6, 4, and then championship race. So we'll have to see. Bill's Legend out there in chat saying lagged out. Everyone is 1 to 2 laps short. So that could be right there why Bowling just took that car down pit road, Stout. That he could absolutely be
getting that splash of fuel.
Right there. Yeah, splash of fuel. Get back on out. Let's see. Yeah, but Bills, we were absolutely pulling for you, following along. You had a rocket ship. It just seemed like you got a little loose as the run went on. But, man, we were definitely pulling for you. Looks like Cheese is now right behind the one of Aswood. He's got the 39 behind him. And then I think that's a 66 of Mike Honcho. I could be wrong. No. Here's the 11 of Parzival. 8 of Augustus again. Goose has been very impressive in the Cup Series this year, Stout. I tell you, him and Dan the Lawman and you Dan and Goose are teammates, aren't you?
Nah, me, Dan, God Power. That's it. It's just us 3.
Oh, okay. All right. Goose is really turning it up this
year. Absolutely. Now, Goose has ran well, man.
I think when I was updating the points earlier, he was in the top 7, I want to say. So, yeah, great season for Augustus. Yeah, Bills, it's really a sad thing to see your car right here on pit road. Still going through. Yeah, you definitely look like you were drifting on the long run, man. Absolutely. But yeah, guys, as we get ready to come to a close here at Indy for the Xfinity Series, wrap up the first round of the 2020 NNR Chase. Please know we've got one more race right here with the Cup Series where Stout Whiskey, he's gonna hop in that 2 car on Thursday night. HD Motorsports and I are gonna follow him and a few others around. Stout says he's got a rocket ship, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But also, don't forget, if before the end of Stage 2, you can get your votes in for who you think will end up in the top 3. Who do you think is going to end up in the booth with me and HD talking about their race, talking about their ride, talking about where they feel their chances at a championship as we head into the round of 12 next week at Las Vegas. And every Thursday night thereafter, if you can pick the top 3 to finish out the race before the end of Stage 2, I've got some Microsoft cash for you. We did that last week, and I forget the guy's name right now, but he was able to walk. Yeah, Boynana. There we go. He was able to walk away with a gift card. Maybe one of y'all out there could be next. Just definitely please, if you don't already, hit that follow, subscribe, hit the notifications. Don't miss out. The league or the community season is fast coming to a close, but there's still a lot of miles left to ride. Let's see here. So going through, there's the 51, there's the 95 again, there's Boehner. Boehner has the 1 behind him. And let's see if I can find who that is there in front of him. No, it's not the 11. It's actually going to be the 8 of Augustus. So let me actually go ahead and pull the stream from Boehner right now, as we've got 10 laps remaining. All right, Boehner's got his stream up, and the top 5 right now, is the 8 of Augustus, Boehner, Asbel, Jay Quims, and Master Killer. So Master Killer again, the guy that I picked to win it all, rocking in the top 5, trying to get it done, but the top 5 is definitely spread out, very spread out, Stout.
Yeah, absolutely. And Boehner's about to catch the draft here of Augustus, man. It's going to be should be a good finish for the win.
Yeah, and talking about Master Killer a little bit ago, he's got the 11 of Parzival trying to challenge on the outside. Not sure if the 39 was loose coming off the corner, but here comes the 11, riding all the way along that wall, coming across the line, going into 1 and 2. The 11 definitely dove it in a little bit faster, a little bit higher. Maybe trying to outbrake the 39. 39 still down low. 11 up high. They're going to come off the corner side by side. 39 is going to be able to take and hold that position. Looks
Well,
like
Parzival lagging a little bit there.
Yeah, he was lagging just a little bit, so that might have been a good idea by the 39. Say, you know what? I see you rubber banding on my screen just a little bit. You go ahead. I don't need to be wrecked. That could be very head move by the 39. Let's see, 7 laps remaining as they go by the pagoda right across, from the flag stand here at Indy. Crossing that, they're going to drive across that yard of bricks one more time. We'll have to see if the 8 of Augustus has what it takes in the tank to stay ahead, or has Boehner just been riding along behind the 8, just staying in his draft, and really just saving as much gas as he could, trying to get to him right now. There you see it. Boehner just got by the 8, and now it might be Goose's turn to save a little gas.
Yeah, I was thinking there, if they can make it on fuel, I thought maybe Goose was just going to let Boehner by real quick and go pit and get a splash of fuel or take 2 right side tires. But it's like maybe he's just going to try to ride it out and maybe draft him a tad here if he can keep up with him.
Yeah, I mean it's if he can keep up with him, he could have a shot at the W, but he can't let up too much. Boehner was able to save, Goose has to save, Asbel has to save, but in just the last half a lap, Augustus is now just about an even second behind Boehner, and then you've got Asbel another about second and a half behind Augustus. Parzival is now in 4th, and Jay Quims is now in P5. Let's see here. Still going on through, kind of checking these guys, keeping up with them. Bills, can you give me a sound check, please? Can you still hear the game sound okay? Kind of lost it in my headset. Still working our way through. Counting down the laps, Stout. Just counting them down to, we've got to be about 5 to go, give or take. Your top 5 again were Augustus and then Boehner, but Boehner was able to get on by that 8. Then you had the one of Asbel to round it out. From what Bill's legend was saying, let me see. Okay, but what Bill's legend was saying is everybody was about a lap or 2 short. So Stout, that kind of feeds right into what I was saying earlier about everybody having to make 2 stops to guarantee they were going to be able to cross that yard of bricks under power. Do you think everybody is in fuel conservation mode, or do you think somebody's going to say, you know what, I know I can't make it. I'm going to go in for splash, not even going to bother with tires, and maybe catch somebody that runs out of gas on this long back straightaway and pick up a couple points that way.
That's why I liked. That's why I initially liked Boland's move. It looks like Boland was in the dirt there on my screen. Just coming down and getting just that splash to make it all the way. But I mean, this is one of those tracks where if you got a controller, man, it sucks because it's hard to stay fueled. But if you got a shifter, this big old rectangle, I mean, you can pop it in neutral about 2/3 down the front stretch and back stretch, and just ride through the corners, and you can really save some fuel.
I mentioned, somebody coming in to take just a splash of fuel, and I actually just happened to come across the 9 of Q-Dog as he was coming off pit road. So it looks like Q-Dog did just that. He realized he was not going to be able to make it, and he was going to have to pedal it the whole way. All right, so Bill's saying he's having an issue hearing you, Stout, so let me go ahead and turn you up just a little bit. There we go. Bills, please let me know if that's any better. Stout, why don't you give us a rendition of your favorite song?
Rendition of my favorite song. Oh, man.
I'm just kidding. You know. No, okay.
Dude, Boehner and Asbel's getting after it. See, that's the thing. Like, they were saving gas. Maybe Boehner was pushing it at first, and maybe Asbel dropped back there to save fuel. But here they go.
Yep, I just caught up with him just as you said that. Yep. Here comes Boehner back to the outside.
Oh,
Boehner slapped that wall hard. Let's see if he gets force. Whoa, way to keep it out, not get force pit. Great job. Good hands by Boehner. Really turned that wheel right, able to save it. And I think, let's see, 1 lap remaining. So this is going to be your fight.
I think that was it. Once they ran out of gas.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, no, that's it. Okay, the timer came up on Cowboy stream, so we'll have to see if those guys finished under. No, they had to finish under power because they were both dueling pretty hard. So let me go ahead and jump on over one more time. All right, looks like your winner's going to be Asbel, Boehner, and then Parsville. So that's your top 3. Then Mike Show, Jay Quinn, Master Killer bringing it home in P6. Cheese in P7, Augustus in 8th, Fatless Dig in 9th, and NNR Cowboy bringing it home in P10. And again, big thank you to Boehner as well as Cowboy for streaming the night and letting us kind of ride along for lap counts and whatever other kind of information we could get out of it. Absolutely appreciate it. As always, man, you guys don't have to, but you choose to. This allows, if we're going to a track for the first time, this allows people to see what kind of setups they're running, see what their pressures are, see what their wedge is. The only thing they don't readily know unless you stream the whole thing is what preset they're off of. But great job by those guys. I'm going to back out of this. I don't want to go to Indy myself. Let's go ahead and bring it all the way out. And let's see. Coey sent me a brand new screen to try out. And let's see. There we go. Nice. I like it. But yeah, go ahead and get on over to Discord or bring these guys into the booth. I see Asbel, I see Parswell, and I see you, Stout, and there's Boehner. All right, so we know Asbel won, we know Boehner got second, and there's old Pars. So Stout, you want to take Parswell?
Absolutely, Parswell. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good, man. Living the dream. So, Parswell, we saw that you ran really good there at the beginning. The first stage, second stage, third stage, like you dropped back there a little bit. Just tell us a little bit about your car, and then tell us how you were able to bring it home third. Was it, just pitch strategy, saving fuel, or what?
Yeah, I was kind of all over the place. I wasn't really sure what setup to start with, if it was the right call or not. I think it was a little too loose there. I went with a little bit of a higher preset. But I was able to kind of hang on, lost a little bit of touch on the long run. We made adjustments, and it ended up being way too tight. So just kind of got it pretty decent at the end, but it was still always a little bit loose on the long run. And at the stage 3, I guess I started lagging pretty good, so I dropped back and lost touch there and just rode around in 11th or 12th for saving fuel for most of that stage, and just tried to stretch it out. And I was able to go. There's about 4 of us that could go one more lap than everyone else, and that seemed to be the key to getting the top through finish. I was able to go 100% with about 7 or 8 laps to go and pass a bunch of guys, so it ended up working out.
Good deal. Parswell, we know that you're already safely in the next round. How do you feel about the second round of tracks?
I feel pretty good. I'm decent at Vegas, I think, so excited to go there. Road course is always up in the air for me. If I can somehow get close to the top 5, I'm happy with that. So if I can just run consistent at the other 3 tracks, I think I'll be in decent shape to make the top 8.
Well, Parswell, great job, man. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just my team helped me out with the setup, Combat Beast and all those guys over there, and just everyone at NNR and broadcast booth, and yeah, good race, good win to the Asbo.
Pete?
All right, I absolutely appreciate it. Good job, Parswell. I love watching you race, man. 'Cause you're always consistent. And then old Boehner, what's happening, bud?
What's going on, Pete? Man, that was fun.
Yes, it was. We were right there with you. Man, the first stage, you guys were dueling it out. Second stage, you guys are dueling it out. Third stage, I'm thinking, all right, well, here's Augustus. He's got a pretty good lead. I'm guessing he had to start saving in order to not run out. And then all of a sudden, here you and Asbel are door to door, side by side, a little bit of beating, a little bit of bang. Really stretching it out down the straightaways, and then he got under you. What could you have done differently to hold him off just a little bit more to where that drag race may not have happened?
It's really tough. I mean, I felt like I really managed that third stage really well, and I was sitting pretty, but it's never over till it's over. And I saw those guys wreck in front of me, and it's one of those things where I see them coming back across the track. You can't tell in this game like really what the cars are doing, so I rolled out of it a lot just to be on the safe side. And I saw Augustus and Asbel just cut me down to like half a second, and then I was like, well, here we go. I was like, now I'm in not the spot I want to be in, which is in the lead with the guy in your draft on old tires. And I don't know that there's anything I would have done different, to be honest. The thing that got drag race I'm off of, and I was getting through 4 so much better than the whole race, and I knew it might come down to that. And it was funny how it worked out going into 3 there. And I was like, okay, well, I know I got a shot, and I just barely clipped his bumper, man. And that kind of sent me towards the wall. And then, man, I don't know how I missed pit road and didn't wreck either. That was really nuts. So, I mean, it's fun, man. It's just, when you're the lead car in that situation, Asbill was like apologizing to me, and I'm like, dude, like, don't freaking apologize. It's the last lap. We're coming to NNR checkered. Like, I'm not. Sometimes you're going to be on the right end of those things, and sometimes you're going to be in the second place in, and there's no point in getting upset over it. I mean, he raced me hard, did what he had to do, gave me plenty of room in four. I just didn't quite. It's just so narrow over there. You have to do that about perfect to try what I was trying, and I didn't do it. So came home second. Congrats to Asbill. That was a lot of fun, and all the other guys up there. So good race.
Yeah, we were right there with you. When you guys came off pretty much side by side, and we saw you make a beeline to the towards the cone going down pit road. And I was like, man, don't get force pit, otherwise you would have gave away every single one of those points that you fought hard for all race long. It would have gone down in literally a flash. But congrats. I mean, you and Boehner you and Asbill, and Parsville, a couple others have got to be at the top. Augustus have got to be at the top of the pick list as we get further and further into the chase. But you're moving on into the round of 12. We've got Vegas next, Dega, I think Mid Ohio, and then I forget
Richmond.
the last. There we go.
Richmond.
Thank you. Yep. Earlier I couldn't remember what Mid Ohio was, and now I couldn't remember Richmond. I'll tell you, this old mind of mine. But I've asked you this before, and you said every track. What are going to be your strong suits, and what are you going to have to work on coming up to the next round?
Yeah, I think Richmond. That's one of my favorite tracks for whatever reason. I always seem to be really, really, really good there. Good tire wear, good speed. So I'm excited to get to Richmond. But yeah, I'm excited for all of them. They should all be a lot of fun. And shout out to Augustus too, man. He was fast. I was doing everything I could to try and push him out of field, and I wasn't really catching him that much. I mean, there's a lot of fast guys tonight. I mean, Bills was up there leading. Master Killer was up there. I mean, it was a lot of fun racing all these guys. I didn't see too many issues around me, but hopefully, I don't know what happened there at the end with some of those lap guys I caught, but between that and clipping Papa Bear coming out of 2, that was pretty much put me in a bad spot, but a lot of fun.
Well, congrats once again. Any shout outs from you this time, sir?
Oh, shout out to Asbill, Fun Racing, everyone at Rook Racing. I think everyone had pretty decent finishes. Fatless Honcho, shout out to you guys, Pete and Stout. Thanks for broadcasting. I'm glad you guys got a butt clincher there at the end, because it looked like it was going to be a snooze fest the last 5 laps, and that did not happen.
Well, I got a great look at all the paint schemes. I didn't see a 00 out there. No buckshot out there. Man, I appreciate that message. But Stout, you got our winner.
Yeah, and I've met you in person, not these other guys. I'm just imagining you with your butt clenched together, to be honest. Jeez, gosh, Boehner. Asbill, dude, you won a stage, you won the race, man. Talk about it.
I don't know. Me and Boehner were just able to break away in the stages. That's kind of, I don't know what to talk about, honestly. It just, it was an exciting race. Pretty much pulled away from everybody in the first stage after pit stops. In the second stage, they started battling, so we were able to pull out to a 3-second lead. So we just kind of rode around. And then, like I said, I didn't want to hit them in 3 and 4. Like, that was the thing I did not want to do. But I did hit him a little bit. That's why I gave him plenty of room in 4. And I just wish he wouldn't have hit my bumper, because that would have been cool coming to the line.
Absolutely. I mean, you two guys definitely dominated, especially when you got hooked up. And the thing was, I mean, this is one of those tracks. It's almost like Daytona and Talladega. It's so hard to pass, and everybody wants to be up kind of against the wall. And I noticed a couple times, both of you, when you'd pull out to pass each other, the guys behind you would stay up against the wall and end up passing you. So, but but definitely when you guys got away, I mean, you guys were able to show that speed. As far as, I mean, the same thing for you. I mean, I know you're very, very competitive wherever we go, but, as far as the tracks in the next round, which ones are you, definitely looking forward to?
I have to say Talladega because that's like the closest track to me. I always loved going to Talladega when I was a kid, so I gotta say my favorite might be Talladega. I love that track.
No doubt. Before we get out of here, man, congrats on the dub. Anybody else or anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Of course, Rick Racing. It was great racing. It was good to see Mike and Fatless finish. I think they did finish in the top 5, maybe 6, I think. Yeah.
I can't remember. I know Honcho was up there for a little while.
Yeah, I want to say Mike finished 5th or 4th, 1 or 2. I think they finished 4th, 5th, maybe. I'm not sure. I was just, kind of crazy finish. Wasn't really looking to finish in order. It's kind of like I said. I wish I wouldn't have hit him, but I mean, it was just, I guess, there. I guess.
Nah, like Boehner said last lap, you didn't reckon. You gave him a nudge. You run on the bottom. It's so hard to turn here if you're going to need somebody like that. You'd have to slow down 15 mile an hour slower to make that turn. And you got to know your competitor. And Boehner said it was all good. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters, man. So congrats on the dub. Look forward to being here and calling the rest of the races with Pete. And, hopefully talking to all 3 of you guys that's in the booth tonight multiple times the rest of the year.
Thank y'all, and shout out to y'all always broadcasting, and it's always fun to go back and watch and listen to y'all commentate it.
Yeah, to hear some of the stupid stuff I say.
We absolutely have a great time calling the races. Well, Stout, that is going to wrap it up for the Xfinity Series. We'll have to definitely keep an eye on how the points go. If your favorite driver's out here in the NNR Xfinity Series, please go to nnrleague.com here over the next few days. Points for the Cup Series is also updated. Cody will have to work on the truck and Xfinity since we just ran them on Sunday and then obviously tonight. But for now, that's going to be it. Stout, thank you very much for joining me. I absolutely appreciate you. Welcome back from the Shake and Bake Pro Invitational. Great to see you again. But yeah, don't forget, Thursday night, be there, be square, HD Motorsports, and me get to call the Cup race. You'll get to see Stout Whiskey back in that number 2. Who knows what car it's going to be, but yeah, please take care of each other. Stay healthy. Stay strong. We'll see you on Thursday night. Don't forget, Thursday night, it's a money race again. Be there, be square. Same bet time, same bet channel. 9 o'clock Eastern. I've got nothing else to say. Y'all have a great night.